Well, howdy folks, K-Dog back here. Welcome back to K-Dog's Movies. This time around, again, we're taking a look at some John Wayne favorites and some John Wayne westerns, or some John Wayne films, I should say, because not all of them are going to be necessarily westerns. But today we're going to take a look at a John Wayne Western classic from 1962, joined by Jimmy Stewart, directed by John Ford, released by Paramount Pictures. It is The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Yeah, this is another one. This is a great classic, and it's basically the story is Jimmy Stewart plays this attorney who's traveling to the West to become this town's lawyer, and the town hasn't been declared as a part of where Shinbone is the name of the town, hasn't declared statehood yet, and so moving out west, he's hoping to bring law and order to the town, and just restore West. But he gets ambushed by a bandit and his gang by the name of Liberty Valance. Liberty Valance in this film is played by Lee Marvin. Very ruthless, mean-spirited bandit. Nearly beats Jimmy Stewart, to his character, to death, but he eventually gets picked up by a man by the name of Tom Donovan, in this film played by John Wayne. They take him into Shinbone, into this cafe, where they restore him back to health and clean up his cuts and give him basically something to do to keep him safe. And of course it's driving him nuts, and they bring in the local marshal, the town marshal, played by Andy Devine. And the problem is Andy Devine, and the marshal, he's a coward and doesn't know the first thing to do about restoring order. All he wants to do is eat from the cafe. Of course, eating big, huge steaks that the cafe is serving, and without paying for them. And of course, Liberty Valance is there. He is just making a ruckus of the town, and he constantly mocks Jimmy Stewart, and of course John Wayne, Tom Donovan, tries to explain to Jimmy Stewart that there's only one way to solve the problems here in this town, which is by the way of the gun. And and Jimmy Stewart's like, I don't want to. Is that all the first thing you think about, is pulling the gun on somebody, and is killing and murder? And it's like, and John Wayne's like, that's the only way you're going to solve the problem, is you got to have a gun on your hip. Because even at one point in this film, Liberty Valance and Tom Donovan in the cafe, they do kind of square off, but he says, "Try it, Valance. Go ahead, try it." Because Liberty Valance knows that he's going down. Instead, he waits until he gets out, and then to cause ruckus. And of course, the whole film is one big flashback. Jimmy Stewart is, when we first meet Jimmy Stewart's character in the film, what is his character's name? Anyhow, when we first meet his character in the film, he is an older man, he's a senator, and the newspaper catches wind of this. Hey, the senator's in town. You know, it's big news. What's going on? Well, they're there for a funeral, and it's the funeral of Tom Donovan, John Wayne's character, and then he proceeds to tell what happened and how what led to what led to Liberty Valance getting shot. And of course the title gives it away. I'm not spoiling anything. Who shoots Liberty Valance? But he tells the truth of what actually happened. But then the newspaper, they get up and they walk away because the truth was told. But the quotation is actually on the back of the Blu-ray, but I'm gonna recite it for you. This is the West, sir. When the legend becomes fact, print the legend. So, yeah, wonderful movie, great Western. It's a film about the actual end of the West because, like I said, there was really no law. They were not protected by the United States government, and so when they were, you know, you see this at the end of the film, is that they're really pushing for statehood. That to be made a state to where they will be protected by the United States government and protected against outlaws like Liberty Valance. And so, you know, that we have, there's a reason, and you know, even to this day, we have laws in place to protect us from crime. I mean, crime still is, you know, does still get committed, but that we have this thing called justice. You know, the person that commits the crime eventually is going to have to pay for it in some form of punishment, whether that may be. It depends on what is ruled. But yeah, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. It's a classic John Ford Western with John Wayne. And the interesting thing about this film is that at the time it was filmed, it kind of went against the grain in a lot of reasons. For one, it was shot in black and white. By this time, you know, most motion pictures were shot in color. And there were specific reasons why John Ford chose to shoot it in black and white. And then everybody was pressuring him, you know, shoot it in color, shoot it in color. He goes, no, I want to shoot it in black and white. Because he said, this is a dark time, and this is a dark time and a dark story I want to tell, and I don't want things, you know, bright and cheery. And so also it was against the grain, because it was against the grain for John Ford, being that you know, because John Ford liked to shoot his films on location. He loved to shoot in Monument Valley, aka the Searchers. He loved to shoot in Monument Valley and shoot on location. Not this film. On the back lot at Paramount. Also, it was against the grain for John Wayne, because John Wayne said that he never really wanted to tell a story that depicted the Old West, or the West. I'm sorry, not depicting the Old West. Of course, he loved to depict the Old West, but he did not want to tell a story that told the death of the West. But being the fact that it was John Ford directing it, he said, "I'm in." So there was no debating. So yeah, it's a great film, great Western film. Another inspiring film to many film directors, from Steven Spielberg to Peter Bogdanovich. They look to this film as inspiration as well. But yeah, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. Of course, it's available on Blu-ray. Look at Amazon if you want to make a purchase. But yeah, there you go. So, gets a thumbs up from me. Hopefully, I do encourage you to check it out. Just, it's a great film. A lot is told in the story, and of course there's a lot of other actors in the film too. From like I said, Andy Devine, Vera Miles playing the love interest. Matter of fact, there's a love triangle going on between Jimmy Stewart and John Wayne. Originally, that she's supposed to be John Wayne's girl, and ends up being Jimmy Stewart's girl, Jimmy Stewart's wife. But and when you watch the film, you'll see why. Because Tom Donovan has to sacrifice quite a bit. But who shot Liberty Valance? Well, you got to check the film out. Who shot Liberty Valance? What all leads to that? Also, John Carradine. I mostly knew him from the Ten Commandments, playing Aaron. He's in here playing a politician trying to keep the West. He's the opposition. Yeah, there's several people in here. But yeah, check it out. The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. So, from me to you, see you later.